There you go, complete, ready to install. A little bit dirty. We're gonna spend a little bit of time just cleaning some of the sawdust off of here, and we'll get it cleaned up, and we'll get ready to mount it. I am really excited to put it on the car, but I do have to do some front end work on the bumper. As you've probably seen in the video already, we have been working on making this new splitter for Brian the car, and it is turning out awesome. We've got 4 inches off the front, we've got this nice edge off the side, and we have really made this thing something that's going to work and make a lot of downforce to pair with our new rear wing. So super excited to try this out. But let me share with you a couple additional things we need to do to this before we call it good. I did mock it up, mount it, make sure that everything is nice and sturdy. We've got some down rods for the front on the way to make sure that this edge corner doesn't bend down too far. And then we're going to do a couple aerodynamic enhancements as well. The first thing we're going to do is install one of these ramps. That means we have to cut up our new board that we just finalized, but I needed to make sure it was good, especially on the ground, that the clearance to ground was great, and it is, so I'm happy with that. These are awesome, and if you want some, we can get them for you. They come in large, that's this side, with 2 vanes. I can get 3 vanes, I can get small. You're talking maybe $300 for these. They are hard molded plastic. They have bolt in, they also have molded in. Shoot me a message if you want a set of these. The ones that I found were like $450. So I could save you $150. Hit me up. My email's on there, letsgo@drivebms.com. Again, letsgo@drivebms.com if you want me to get you a set of these. They are super cool. They come with this template, so you can cut out your board. You don't have to worry about guessing and marking and everything like that. It's got this indented edge in there, and I'm going to show you when we go to cut up this board how well they work. And basically these ramps, they go inside your wheel well here, and you can kind of see there, they tuck up, you cut out the hole there, and it basically allows air to escape from the under edge of your splitter into your wheel well and get around the tire as cleanly as possible. Now, I will tell you, I made a mistake when I was making and designing the splitter. I made it super wide, which is cool, you know, maybe not so great if you're doing wheel-to-wheel racing and you're cutting it really close to your competitor's car. But the ultimate thing that I didn't really think about is when I'm loading and unloading, how much room I have between the wheel wells and my trailer. And guess what? With this as far out as it is, I have about a 1/4 inch clearance on both sides. So I will be trimming this up and moving this in probably a couple inches on both sides because I just need that extra little bit of clearance. The last thing I want to tell you about, again, something I can get for you, something I highly recommend if you're building your own splitter. 2 pieces that are key to this build are these titanium pucks, and they go underneath your splitter and they really save it. Because look, if you're making a ton of downforce, you got this car as low as it can be to the ground, that splitter is going to want to rub. So you mount these, the Aero ones that have a nice shape to them, they go in the front, and then some rounded ones for the sides as well, and they just protect your splitter. Plus they make really cool sparks when you're on the ground going at high speed, hitting the apexes and really going after those max time efforts. Just a couple components to keep in mind. Like I said, if you want some of these awesome ramps, shoot me a message, I'll hook you up. If you want some of these titanium pucks, I will also hook you up. I forget what the price is on these, but I can definitely give you a quote and send you in the right direction to make sure we get them to you as soon as possible. So, hey, we're not just here about like going fast, renting our cars. Like, there's more than that. We want to help out the racers. So if I can find a deal and I can pass it on to you, I will do that. And I will help you, you help me. That's how the racing community works. So keep following along. I'm going to do a huge video series on making the splitter. I'm really excited how it's coming out. But for right now, we're going to take the splitter off the car. I have some brake ducts I got to clean up. I got some additional work to do under here. And then I got to get Brian on the lift because it's time for another car to come on here and we got some more work to do. It's always a lot of work to do. It is time to get this C4 back here off the drive-up ramps. We're going to park it up front. We're going to back Black Betty up, and then we are going to get to work actually building some stuff in here because we need to get Brian ready August 31st, going out to Roebling Road Raceway. We're going to test out this new Aero with the 9 Lives Racing rear wing and with our new splitter, which we need to make some modifications on the splitter later today. We're hopefully going to be finishing that project up, and then that car's going to be ready to go. But I still have to do numerous things to get it 100% so it's ready to go. All right, folks, let's get this done.
This to be right on that edge.
Brian, the car splitter is coming along nicely. We've got it cut down so that we can fit it in the trailer now. Nice front shape. It has holes for the ramps that we'll be installing here shortly. So I'm going to do one more sanding on this, get it really nice and clean. Then we'll throw some more paint on it. And then final assembly, putting it underneath the car. But really awesome. Looking forward to how well this thing works and how much downforce it makes. All right, yesterday I made a few modifications to our splitter board. One of the things that I did discover that I think I already talked about was with the width of the splitter, the way it was originally designed, we used the full width of the board. We went 4 inches out on either side all the way around the front. I didn't realize that the distance between the wheel wells and my trailer was also a limitation. So I went out there, I measured it. I had about 80 inches between my wheel wells. And so when I came back in here and measured it, I had about 1/4 inch of clearance on either side, which is really tough to load and unload the car. So over the weekend, cut these down about 2 inches on either side. Should give us plenty of clearance now. We're looking at 75.5, so about 4.5 inches of clearance. That gives us 2 inches of clearance on both sides of the splitter for loading and unloading the car. It's still a really tight fit, but I think it's going to be a lot more manageable. Now, obviously, you can have quick disconnects on your splitter to make it easier to load and unload your car. That's really a better solution for folks that have really low cars and you don't have loading ramps or whatever your case may be. But we cut these down. We still recess this area here, so we have a nice aerodynamically advantage there. So it's a nice smooth transition between the end plates, how we're going to mount those. And then we cut out these holes here and over there, and those are for the ramps that are going to allow airflow to exit from underneath the board nice and cleanly into the wheel well. And we are now going to work on coming up with the mounts so we can screw these into place and get this finalized, and we'll be ready to mount this splitter board up underneath the car. But before we do that, I've got to clean up the front nose of this car quite a bit and make it a lot nicer because it's just not in great shape right now. So those are the things we're going to work on today, and hopefully get this thing all finished up and ready to go and installed, and we'll call this splitter project complete. We're quickly running out of time. I plan on testing Brian the car August 31st down at Roebling Road. We have a good baseline from last time we were out there, so I'm curious to see between the new wing on the rear and the new front splitter how much of a difference it makes. We're also going to be trying out a couple different tire combinations down there, so it may not be an apples for apples, but we'll do our best to get a good comparison. All right, so we've got these ramps on there. We're just gonna, I do have a template. They do come with a template that you can use. Very handy for cutting out the hole, for doing the holes. I did start to use this and put it on there. I'm gonna do it a little bit different. I've got a very small drill bit here. I've got the threads. I'm not gonna screw up the threads when I go through here. So I'm just gonna mark them. I wanna make sure this is fully seated. It's got plenty of catch on the board, and I'm gonna hold it down. They are molded plastic, so you can tell it's not perfectly flush. No, I mean it is. And the screw's definitely gonna hold them in. The nice thing is these are beveled screws, so that I'll go on the other side and make sure that these sit nice and flush too, so that you have a nice aerodynamic airflow across the head of the screw on the other side too. But I'm gonna go ahead and drill some of these in here, and that'll give us a good mark of where they need to be. All right, from there, I'm gonna do these two front ones. I don't have a long enough drill bit, so we'll get those sorted out. I'm gonna do both sides, then I'm gonna flip the splitter board over, drill the holes all the way out, and then bevel the holes so that the flush edge of these will go in there nice and flat, and then bolt it all together, and we're gonna say that part is complete. So I'll check back in once we get that done. I'm gonna flip the splitter over now and bevel the bottom side so that the screws will fit flush. At least that's the goal. So now we're gonna go through here and just use this bit right here, open up the holes a little bit. We'll take a sample screw with us just to make sure that we get them nice and rounded out enough so they fit in there. They're nice and flush in there. And that just is a much cleaner installation. Some of the things I want to do is use stuff like this on the outside edge where I'm putting the end plates as well, because it makes for a much cleaner install. So we're going to work on that. So I'm going to go around these, finish all these up, and then we'll be ready to put these ramps in here for our final assembly. This is the bottom of the splitter board, looking at the flush mounted ramps installed, bolted, screws nice and flush in there. Both sides look really good. Super happy with how that's turned out overall. I think that's going to make for a very nice splitter. Keep in mind, you know, this is homemade. This is shop built, nothing super fancy here. Just trying to make some of these things work and doing the best we can. You can buy these things, and honestly, for the hours that I have into this, it might be worth it just to go out and buy some of the ready-made ones. But you're going to have some fabrication even if you just buy a ready-made piece. But it's kind of cool to build your own stuff too. Okay, next step is I'm going to flip the splitter back over, and then we're going to get the end plates mounted up. Debatable whether you want to do the end plates while it's on the car or not. I will tell you, it's a lot easier to fit it up underneath it without the end plates, because they have to guide on both sides of the car. But what I'm going to do, because I already have one, is I have a transmission jack. I'm going to put it on the transmission jack, get it nice and smooth, and be able to roll it in there. If you don't have that, I recommend waiting, getting your splitter mounted up underneath there, then put your end plates on. Just because in the past I've ran into issues where it runs into the fenders and scratches everything up, and it just makes a mess. But for today, I've still got to do, because we did cut the ends off here. I had them on here previously, but I do have to put them on there and drill the holes for the new locations where they are now, a couple inches inset from on both sides. So I'm gonna flip this over, and then you get a great view of the top side of how these look. And keep in mind, this is inside the fender well, so you don't see any of these protruding screws or anything like that. You don't see any of that. Nice little scratch on there from when I laid it down the other way. It's gonna get a lot of scratches, so that will not be the first one, and it's probably behind the bumper anyway, I'm gonna guess. So that's good. All right, so now we're going to grab the end plates and we're going to drill the holes for that. All right, time to drill the holes for the end plates. Shouldn't be much of a big deal here. Nice and flush. Screws through here, and again, this is one of those things I will improve upon. I'm going to get some different hardware for this, but for right now, this is going to work okay. Ideally, you flush mount all of this. Again, I think I've probably got plenty of room I can make up behind the wheel and improvements versus how much this screw and nut are going to make for airflow disruption underneath my splitter. But at some point, I'll probably take the time to get some better hardware. That's kind of one of the big things about all of this stuff too, is like having good hardware, just like having good tools, makes a huge difference when you're fabricating and building things overall, because it's just, it really helps, and all these little things make a difference. So when you have a major fabrication shop, you're able to do a lot more because you have the equipment and you have the resources and the hardware bin. You walk right over to it, grab what you need, and it works out. For me, I've got to run down to the hardware store. It takes, 20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes to find what I need to find, 20 minutes back. That's an hour of my day just going and getting some hardware. Whereas if you're a full up fabrication shop, you have a wall of bins of everything you need, which is really nice. I would love to get there someday, and we will get there someday, one step at a time. All right, we're gonna bolt these guys on there. Look at that, looking cool. I'm gonna do the other side. At the end of the day, you spend all this time and energy in building this stuff, and it gets torn up. You go out there, you use it. That's the point. We're not making toy cars here. We're not making garage queens, trailer queens. We are making cars that are going to go on track. They're going to beat up the track. They're going to race against other cars. And we're going to avoid contact. All possible. But sometimes things happen. Sometimes you end up off-road a little bit. And splitters do not like going off-road. On my C6 Z06 out at Chuckwalla, California, east of Palm Springs, I had a wheel break off in a bowl. You enter the bowl, you do about 100, I think I was doing about 110 or so. Felt this weird vibration. The front left wheel broke off. I didn't know it at the time, right? I just feel the vibration, and I feel the car give up the ghost in the bowl. But I rolled off the throttle, kind of went sailing off the top of the bowl and into the desert. And come to a stop, everything worked out fine, didn't do any damage, got really lucky. Car stayed right side up. But as I was coming to a stop, of course, I see the tire and wheel go flying past me. I'm like, oh, that would be why I'm out here. That would make sense now. And the whole point of that story was, I had a 6-inch splitter on that car because that was time trial, time attack car. Didn't have a roll cage. And it only really broke about the first couple inches off the splitter. So got towed back in. I had another set of wheels and tires ready to go. Some Hoosier A7s on there, really great real tire. And threw that on the car, went out for the next session. You know, cut a couple inches off the front that were broke. Dug all the gravel and dust and dirt from the desert out of the car. And went out. Ended up winning that race. It was awesome. I was just off the track record for my class that weekend after doing that. You go from the lows to the highs sometimes. Sometimes you go from the highs to lows. Just keep digging. Just keep getting after it. That's what you do. Alright, we're going to tighten this guy up. And there you go. Complete. Ready to install. Almost done.